What's up, YouTube, and cheers. It is a Saturday. We are going to do yet another lazy content special where I just empty out my pockets and then I yep about what's going on. So, I'm going to start out with this. When I go for walks late at night, it's helpful in the day as well. I carry this in the 511 tactical. It's supposed to be like a magazine holder. I just use the light. I put the light in there. But anyway, so like say I'm out, kind of a unique thing maybe to the trail, but there are people sometimes that ride bikes and won't turn off their lights, or for whatever reason are running vehicles on the trail, which is always frustrating. This thing is so bright. I mean, it's blinding. And if the bicycle people don't want to turn off their lights, I just have them eat the light. Like, and they can't see anything. You know, it's rude, man. Like, I understand it's a bike trail, but if you can't share, get off of it. This is a recycled firefighter wallet. I like it very much. I would open it up with my stuff, isn't it? Recycled firefighter handkerchief. We have a Kudaman stainless 420 steel, made in Spain. It's a very Spanish knife, and I like it a lot. I get that it's not for everybody. If this had jimping, it would be like, whoa. But this is a nice piece, and does everything it's supposed to do. Would I necessarily, if I knew I was going to go out and like, you know, do some crazy bushcraft thing, would I take that? Probably not, but I don't ever do bushcraft because I was actually raised in the country, so I know what a hatchet is. This is a Pakal knife from Steel City Cutlery. I am about to polish this up again. Very often, this is 80 CRV2 or CR2V. So it does, gets a little pitted sometimes, or gets the pepper spots, I should say. Continuing forth, we have more 80 CRV2 from the Very Good Knife Company. Interestingly, this is the part of this is where the sheath ends, and this has contact with a lot of the time my bare stomach. And this is it's dramatic. I don't know if it'll show up as dramatically, but it goes from like polish, black. So I will polish that up this evening. I am rocking the Carney Jack from Boster Impact Devices. It's awesome. No regrets. Very whip-like. There's a lot of interesting kind of, mace, by the way. Why would you not carry chemical deterrent? We'll get to this in a second. Why would you not carry chemical deterrent? That is silly. Don't be a silly Billy, guys. Some writing stuff. Some Millspin Nux. These are the new marine ones. Very neat, very cool stuff. I like it. Okay, back to this thing. Let me make sure I have everything. A lighter, some chapstick, and a space pen. So, what I really like about this is that it's light. We'll do a measurement. We're going to take a measurement, guys. You guys thought the measurements were over, but they're not. Yep, about 8 ounces. So this is real light and very flexible. So it's going to be an easy carry. It uses this strap as retention. I've seen this used before in some of the groups. If someone tries to pull it away, it'll cinch up for you. It's just kind of an alternative to the classic thumb, thumb and around, and now you've got it. This thing being so incredibly flexible means that I can almost, when I whip this, have this come forward and touch itself. Like, It's getting close. And I read somebody say something along the lines of, if you punch with these, this will whip forward and strike. Look, I don't know about that. I don't know about Jeet Kundoing absolutely everything. Let's not overthink this. All right, let's stay with me. Stay with me, okay? I'm gonna take a drink, but let's think about this. A club. What is a club? Okay, this is a light club. What do you do with it? You beat people with it. People, places, things, animals, ideas. What is this? That's also a club. It's loaded with 6 ounces of lead. It's heavy. Thing would fold your arm in half. You would probably die of shock. I don't know, maybe you wouldn't. The bottom line is that before you like turn this into some weird proprietary to you pseudo martial art that really has no basis in history, tradition, or pretty much application because you're making it up on your own, I would just use this like a club. If I was really going for it, I would let this ride up to the middle of my palm because I've got the, it's not going anywhere. All of a sudden I have a lot of reach. So much reach. The most reach. Over 5 inches of reach. To put that in perspective, your wingspan is usually how tall you are. So tip of your middle finger to tip of your middle finger, your other one is how tall you are, pretty much usually. So if you think about adding 5 inches, you've just added 10. You have the reach now of someone 10 inches taller, almost a foot taller. Okay, so that's not insignificant. Not only that, you are creating a ton of leverage. And because this thing, you kind of are whipping it into people, like you are, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to. You could just swing this into somebody, like, you don't have to whip it into them. Dang, dude. Whoa. All right, I gotta stop hitting my hands with these instruments. I think I almost broke my hand right there. Yikes. Yikers. Look, just don't overthink it. This is not something that needs to be overthought, dude. This is a carny jack. Literal carnies used to carry this and just beat people. I mean, probably they were like, up to no good around the carnival equipment, but wow. It's just dope. It's a super dope thing. If you ever get a chance at one of these from Foster Impact Devices, definitely snatch up the opportunity. He knows what he's doing. There's two of them. So yeah, where does that kind of leave my carry? Well, I have a silent impact weapon that creates a ton of leverage and gives me reach. That's gonna make me a lot harder to deal with. I have this, so for utility tasks, but also to defend myself. This neutral broomstick style handle with this is kind of a guard. Gives me a pretty good amount of grip. Would I necessarily want to do the sewing machine where I grab a chunk of you, hair, belt, wad up your t-shirt? I love grabbing stupid people's hair. Facial hair, they call the beard a punch handle for a reason. You know what I mean? Because if you did that, you would get blood, and then you do get slippery before it gets sticky, but you do risk jumping up onto this. So, I mean, this would be emergency only. This is also emergency only. It's also, that jiu-jitsu proofs my carry. I realize there's going to be people that always think that they can disarm you, or they're going to get it out of your hand. That's not really going to be the thing, okay? No one's going to get it out of your hand. It blows my mind that, like, we convince people, like, oh, they'll just take it from you and use it. But you're going to stand there? What kind of crybaby liberal BS is that? Anyway. These things are the business, easy to carry, a lot of heft to them. Many corners, very nice. This is going to really do it. It's going to get them. This is really the first line of defense. That's why I think having, this is the Rebel Throw from Countycom/Meritech. Why having a very powerful light is definitely worth it. Because you're going to use it more than the rest of your gear for sure. This is the second line of defense. And it would definitely have, in this case, this would be my left hand. And this would be my right hand. So if you charge me, I'm impacting you as well as macing you. And I just want to say, I do want to say this. When you guys are macing, try not to. Obviously, you want to be aggressive. You want to make space. You want to get away. Fighting should be the last course of action. The defending yourself, self-defense, fighting for your life. You should always use your thumb. And here's why. This, you can't punch now. You're going to have to do this anyway. So do yourself a big favor and just start like this. So that way, if they do get really close, you will naturally, you don't have to think about it. You'll go to punch, this will come down, bam, and then it acts like a fist lob. Still I'm drinking this stuff. When am I going to stop? I don't know. So yeah, look folks, we're rolling into the cold weather months. People are going to have jackets. People are going to be armed. I would assume, in most of the country, I would assume that the average person is armed. So that way, even if they aren't, you're reacting in such a way that makes sense. It won't get you on, put yourself in unnecessary danger, because I feel like a lot of the assumptions that we make that bite us in the ass, we assume that people don't have what we have. I would just go ahead and assume they do. That's why I've kind of been stressing more like, hey, you make space, aggress, fall back. If the person is on drugs, it's not going to make sense to fight them really anyway. You just want to get away. All right, in any event, so about all she wrote for this one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. And hope you folks have a good rest of your day. Bye now.